Welcome to the 100K Club podcast, the podcast that is solely there with one mission: to create high income earners for the next generation of people, giving you the skills and the tools and the strategies and the psychology, the mindset, not just for your mindset, but the mindset of others as well. And that's what we're talking about today. You see, I see all the different figures, the data that comes back from the podcasts. And the previous episode that we did on influence and persuasion had a high rate of listeners. And I was getting comments from people as well saying, hey, Lewis, look, that was a good episode. Can we have some more? So I did say that I'd put it into the members club, which is the same price as Netflix if you subscribe on Spotify. However, here's some more free stuff so you can start to use it in your day-to-day. So if you're a 100K club individual and you're going to get into the 100K club, one of the main things that you're going to have to do is become a boundaryless career individual. What does that mean? It means that you are in charge of your success. How do you do that? Well, you find a vehicle that can allow you to. And I'm not saying, look, quit your job. Yeah, it's not about that. It's about creating cash flow vehicles, isn't it? Your workplace is one. It'll give you a lot of learning. It'll give you a lot of security. So don't just jump into the deep end and say, hey, look, I'm quitting my job to go and do this thing and become some hustler, some pretender on Instagram saying that they're hustling when they're not. They're just working broke, yeah? We start to think about this in a very smart way. We can start to think, okay, how do I increase my cash flow vehicles? The employment that I'm in right now, is it about me having a conversation with somebody that can start to change me from a bounded career to a boundaryless career where I'm in charge of my success? What are we talking about there? How do we create a win-win for you so it's a win for you and a win for the business? Having a conversation. We spoke about this in the previous episodes. Then it's about patience, right? So nobody's going to turn around and just go, there you go. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. Unless you put a lot of positioning in place first. But we need to start moving to that position of creating boundaryless careers in our, 1, 2, 3 year plan, not 1, 2, 3 day plan. You see, the problem with a lot of millennials and Gen Zs now is that they want it too soon. They just think that they need to have it right now. They're not prepared to put in the plan, the whole patience around it to make it happen. Because people overestimate what they can do in a year, but extremely underestimate what's possible in 10 years, okay? You listen to the great people that are telling you how to become millionaires. We don't talk about that on this podcast, by the way. We want to go from A to B, not A to Z, yeah? We want to go, I said American today. This is an American podcast. Why am I saying Z and not Z? Fuck. Yeah. So we want to know how we get to 100K first. Yeah. We don't want to talk about the big numbers now. We can do that in other podcasts, right? We're going to just talk about how do we get you to the next level, which is 100K. Boundaryless careers is a good place to be. Right. So let's talk about influence and persuasion. If you're going to get into this boundaryless career, we're going to need to persuade some people, because ultimately, no matter what you're in, you're going to need great persuasion skills. And this is what we spoke about in the last episode. The last episode, I've got to tell you guys, I got a little bit excited and I started to go a little bit too deep into NLP and psychology and beliefs and all this stuff. Great. So let's just take it back a step now. We can go into the more detailed stuff in the members club. If you are a part of the members club, and if you're not, jump on. You know, it's £15, the same price you'd pay for Netflix Premium. Jump onto that and you can get all this content as well. But here's some free stuff to help people just move a little step forward. This is what the 100K Club's about, isn't it? So I'm going to give you today 15 points of what you can start to focus on and think about and set your learnings to become a better influencer, persuader, leader. Because look, influence and persuasion isn't just in sales, is it? Influence and persuasion is in leadership. It's in management. It's in owning businesses. It's in, well, let's say you don't own businesses and you're a fantastic technician. Yeah, what I mean by that is you've got a particular set of skills. You've got a particular set of skills that you can start to use to get paid a lot more money, i.e. a doctor becomes a brain surgeon, right? You're still going to need to have influence and persuasion skills. You go and speak to some of the cleverest people in the world that may be technicians. They're very persuasive as well. right? So this stuff is universal. You're going to need it no matter what you're doing. So let's dive straight in, shall we? Number 1, reciprocity. People tend to feel obligated to return favors of gestures. What does this mean? Well, it's simple, isn't it? It's no fucking psychology trick. If you're nice to somebody, they tend to be nice to you back. If people don't know, like, and trust you, then they're not going to give you anything. How do you start to do that? Well, by doing something for someone, you can create a sense of that, look, I care. Yeah? You're going out your way, but what's the intent behind it? Always think about what the intent. Is this person just doing it to get something from me, or does this person generally have a vision or mission that they're trying to achieve for, I'm talking a bit big picture, of course, yeah, that they're trying to enroll you on because that they honestly believe it could be the best thing for you, yeah? So just be clued up on that. Reciprocity is a key thing. Again, not going to go into too much detail in this. We're going to skim over these 15, and we'll talk about them in a lot more detail in the actual members club. So, reciprocity. What can you start to do for people to build the emotional bank account? Yeah, key words. Emotional bank account. What does that mean? Well, we're not giving an actual financial bank account. We're building an emotional bank account of helping people. And look, it's really important that this is done with the right intent. The content I'm giving you now must be done with the right intent. Because I'm from the UK and I've lived in Australia as well. And one thing I love about the UK and most Australians is we've got the bullshitometer. The bullshitometer. As soon as that sense of bullshit or salesiness is coming across, there we go. Beep, 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 beep. And I'm fucking off out of there. I don't want to know. The amount of stuff I see online and podcasts I listen to and go, hey, look, oh, this is really interesting. And then there's some bullshit that comes with it that's just, I can mention a few names, I won't say it, but you can think of some of the top sales gurus out there right now. There's always some caveat to it at the end. Why can't you just help someone, right? Why can't you just help someone? So, reciprocity. Think about it and think about it in the right way. Number 2. Commitment and consistency. So people have a strong desire to appear consistent in their words and actions are people that are more influential and persuasive. So people that don't walk the talk, yeah? If they say they're going to do it, prove it, yeah? Prove it. And this is something I use as a business coach, not just for coaching high income earners as well. Look, it's great what you're saying, and you're saying all this stuff, prove it. Yeah, where's the commitment to it? Where's the consistency? I did a recent thing lately where I was doing 30 videos for 30 days to celebrate my organisation's 30th year anniversary. And I've got to be honest, come day 10, I was like, oh yeah, I could just get away with not doing it today. No, discipline. Yeah, because I know that commitment and consistency is key if you're going to be an influential and persuasive person, right? So all those small things add up. Yeah, remember the first episode we spoke about? People are working it out. It's got to go into this program, this cognitive thinking, and any sort of inconsistency can set off that bullshitometer, right? So, commitment and consistency, number 2. Number 3, again, how to prove it? Social proof. People won't just believe what you say. They need to see it from other areas as well to show that you're doing the correct, appropriate behavior, showing evidence that you are following through. So I'm in the business coaching world when I'm not doing the 100K Club podcast, and I work with clients. And one of the key things that people say to me is, Lewis, the reason that we like you as a business coach is that we can physically come to your office, your workshop, your factory, and see all your employees. There's 50 employees there working, following the stuff that you're talking about. Yeah? It's social proof. I can actually go and show it. And then I see a lot of people that go on LinkedIn. How do you become a fucking business coach? You change your name on LinkedIn. Yeah? You change your title to business coach. Yeah. Social proof, right? Go and prove it. If you're going to get these results for people, show it how you're doing it in your fucking life too, right? Number 4, authority. People tend to trust and follow the advice of experts, of authoritative figures in a given field. So, this go back to a formula, right? So, if we think about it, the formula is if you've got something that you want to have, then you better start doing the right stuff and being the right person, okay? So if we think about it like that, if you're going to have to become an authority, then we need to start becoming that person that is the authority. That makes sense? So if we start with the end in mind, who are the people, who do I need to become to start being that authority figure so I can get more credibility around it? And just by understanding that and having a good plan to it, not just doing the stuff, which was the previous two, yeah? Who do you need to become that authority? Yeah. Number 5, likability. People are more likely to be influenced by those they like and feel a connection with. Know, like, and trust. So always think of people walking around. Yeah. Who does business with other people? People do business with people that they know. Yeah. So that they've met them or they've been referred to, that they like. How do we like them? Well, it tends to be because they have rapport. Yeah. Again, we can go into a lot more detail about rapport in the 100K Club membership. They're friendly and they find common ground with. Yeah. All this sort of stuff can enhance your likability. Number 6, scarcity. People tend to place higher value on things that are perceived as rare or in limited supply. Now, this has got to be done in the right way, hasn't it? Because how many times have you seen, oh, there's only 5 things left, act now. Again, beep, 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 bullshitometer. It's kicking off. It's clearly there's not. You just chuck some more fucking seats in the room and you fill it. So why lie? Why do businesses do this? Why do people think this way? Why are salespeople saying, oh, you must put some scarcity? It's bullshit, yeah? There's always space, and they're not going to turn away a fucking £2,000 product, are they? Yeah? Think about it, right? So how's it done scarcity in the right way? Well, it's done with the right intention. If you plan on only selling 10 products or 100 products, only create 100 products. Now, for me, for instance, if there was a room where I was coaching, I don't want to be able to... So I've got a rule. I've got 25 client slots, yeah, in my business coaching. Any more than that, I don't want to work anymore because I teach and coach life balance, yeah? So it'd be eating into my family time, which is one of my biggest values. And number 2, well, it starts to dilute the other clients, doesn't it? So why would I want to? So that's something that I can be open and honest around with a great intention around it. But when people are bullshitting about, like, hey, look, there's only 100 seats in this seminar room. Clearly, you could chuck another 10 in there. Clearly, you could get a bigger room. Just think about it, right? Again, the bullshitometer starts to kick off here. Just be careful around people using scarcity tricks. And this is what's key. The more you understand influence and persuasion, the more you can spot it as well, that people are trying to influence and persuade you as well. Yeah. So I always say the best people to sell to are actually salespeople, because they understand when genuine salespeople are actually doing things that are helping them. Yeah. So just be conscious of it. The more you understand, the more you learn, the better you will be, and the better off you will be in just life in general. Number 7, emotional appeal. Emotions can play a significant role in persuasion. And that's because, look, when you're telling a story, think about your favorite movie. Yeah, think about your favorite movie. Think about the start. What sort of things do you remember throughout that movie whilst you were there? You can tell the story in your mind. It may be a 2-3 hour movie, but most people can tell what happens to somebody else within 30 seconds. And listen to what they say. They'll tell you about how it started, what happened in the middle, and how it ended. The bit in the middle tends to be around the part that created the most emotion. Yeah? People remember emotional stuff, the way it made them feel. Now, in influence and persuasion, we can start to make sure that we're using emotional and emotional stuff in our language to trigger that stuff being remembered. Yeah. If emotions get remembered and the way that make them feel. So what are we doing? I speak to people that go out there and I say, hey, look, show me your sales pitch. And they're literally just reading a script. And I hear a lot of people as well saying, hey, look, scripts don't work. No, they don't fucking work if you sound like a robot. Yeah. You need to make it emotional and engaging. Tell a story. Use vivid language. Yeah. English. Go and read some good stuff. Get some apps on your phone that teach you some different words to use that are more emotional triggering than just the standard normal words that you would use from day to day. Yeah, people always say, oh, you must make sure that a 9-year-old must be able to understand it. Yeah, okay. They've got to understand it from a 9-year-old, but when you're actually talking to somebody, they need to be able to be moved. Yeah, so understanding, having a great vocabulary is key. Number 8, understanding your audience. Well, it's like this, right? You've got to tailor your persuasion techniques to the specific needs. The values is key. What are those key values of that demographic, right? So, for instance, the 100K club. Have you noticed it's the 100K club now, by the way? Yeah? It was A players. Why? Well, it started with 100K club and it moved to A players, and the reason for it is that I have a lot of business owners listening to this that perhaps don't want their team members listening to it because they may turn around and go, oh yeah, well I can't make 100K, please Mr. Business Owner. Well, look, the thing is if you can't give your top people, I better say A players, they are your A players, if you can't give your A players the opportunity to make 100K, then we've got to think about it. Now, the key is 95% of your team members aren't there to make 100K in the first place because they probably won't even listen to the fucking 100K club in the first place. So how serious are they? Yeah, so don't worry about it. So I re-changed this because I made it A players. So I changed it to A players because I thought it would start to shift towards a different audience where we can get team members and things to listen to it. And then what started to happen is I was getting a lot of feedback saying, hey, Lewis, the 100K club, the 100K club. I'm like, people want to make money, yeah? People want to make 100K. And there isn't that much out there. Go and find another podcast that is specifically designed just to talk about how you get to 100K. And there's a reason why they don't do it. It's because people don't like to talk about, well, you know, it depends where you're from in the world, but people don't like to talk about money in general. It's taboo, yeah? But the audience that I have is the 1% that do want to talk about it and that do want to take ownership to get to 100K no matter what it takes. So I've changed the branding of it to go back to this because now I understand my audience. Does it matter that I went from 100K to A players to 100K club again? No. And this is a key thing, isn't it? Just get fucking started. Just get started. You can always change something. Yeah? So right now then, understanding your audience. Why did I change it back? Because I understand my audience more, right? So if you can understand your audience, then you may be able to work with them in different ways that they feel more connected. Number 9, active listening. Oh, wow. So this is a key one. There's some fantastic books on, by the way, on this. And if you do want some good books on this, just drop me an email message or follow me or send me a DM on LinkedIn or Instagram and just ask me about what the books are around active listening. And the good coaching books is all about active listening, yeah? So active listening is understanding your audience's concern and objections. So listening actively to their feedback and address their objections. What does this mean? So, look. Questions are the answers. Fantastic book, by the way. Questions are the answers. Questions that sell. Another great book. What's the key? Asking great questions based around what they've mentioned. Because if they've said it, it's true to them. If you was to do a ratio and listen to your salespeople right now, if you're a business owner, if you're in sales and you listen to your team members right now, just listen to them for a little bit, yeah? What are they saying? Not the words. What's the ratio of their listening versus their talking? And I can guarantee you that the people that sell more are the ones that have the ratio of around 80-20, being 80% listening versus 20% talking. But what does the world teach us? Yeah? They tell us about, you must say this and say this and say this. And I've seen people on Instagram now saying, this is how you handle objections. You say this and say, no, you fucking don't. You don't do that at all. What you actually do is you listen and you prepare yourself using all the content from the 100K Club, for example, and other podcasts and other books and other content around great sales. And you ask great questions and listen to great responses. Yeah, the best questions, by the way, are the ones that neither you or the client doesn't know the answer to. If they don't know the answer to it, that's where the gap is to moving forward. right? Not just moving forward in a sale, I mean moving forward in the conversation so you can start to explore that and how you come to a solution to it. That is where influence and persuasion is. Was there anything that sounded a little bit, with the wrong intent? Well, it depends on your intent, doesn't it? Yeah. So remember, the tools that you're listening to right now and you're about to equip yourself with during the 100K Club members is very powerful stuff. So just be conscious where you use it and how you use it. Number 10, building trust. Right. This is the foundation, isn't it? The foundation of influence is trust. Yeah. I've got a good friend, actually. I'm doing a PhD in work psychology, which is all this stuff, by the way. But I don't just work from something that I read in a book. It has to actually be, scientifically proven. It has to have had studies around it for me to actually, want to actually take it on board. Because there's that much stuff out there now that I've got to have stuff that I trust. And when the study goes forward, it has to have a certain level of reliability studies around it, different meta-analyses around it and all these different, I'm not going to keep repeating all the big words because you don't need to know that stuff. What you need to know, though, is that it has been done from a place that it is reliable. So being honest, being reliable, being consistent, your interaction to build and maintain trust with others is key. How are you going to do that? How are you not just going to do that? How are you going to demonstrate it, right? Just think that in mind as well. Number 11, clear communication. Present your ideas clearly and concisely. You can use persuasive language and visuals because this is back to the NLP stuff that we spoke about in the previous episode, right? What is NLP? Visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Yeah. VAC. Is that person more visual? Are they more auditory? Are they more kinesthetic? How do you know? Well, here's an example, right? Again, we'll talk about this in the 100K members club. A visual person, listen to the words that they say, right? Do they say things like, oh, I like the look of that? Or does that looks like a good idea? Yeah. You see how they're using visual things about like the way things look. Listen to how they tell a story about what happened on the way to work, that they could have mentioned about how the sun was shining through the window and it was glaring and it was such a great sunny day. Yeah. A more auditory person is that they've had a fantastic day today. It's just so quiet outside, yeah? Or they'll say, you give them an idea and they'll go, oh, I love the sound of that, yeah? Auditory. Kinesthetic. It just doesn't feel right, does it? Oh yeah, that just feels great, yeah? It's a great warm day today. It just feels nice, yeah? It's great comfortable. People that are more touchy-feely, yeah? So, of course, there's a lot more detail to this, and we can go into that in the podcast, but understanding, hopefully I've just given you some examples there, that understanding the different words that people use can start to give you the way that they see the world and the way that their brain processes information, okay? So if you're not giving clear communication based on they're called modalities, by the way, yeah? The modalities, then that person, no matter what you do, you could be showing them a fantastic, you could be giving them the greatest pitch ever using your words, but without any visuals, you've just completely lost them. And here's the thing, most people are visual, yeah? A lot of people are visual. And then secondly, they are auditory. Now, that's great, using YouTube videos and things. You could do a lot of your sales and your marketing through YouTube and Instagram, but the one thing that it misses out on is the actual physical product of being there and being present with somebody. Or if you actually had something to give to someone, say it was the new phone or something, some people just need to feel it in their hands, yeah, to understand it and to move forward. So when you're working with people, what sort of things are you doing? Visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. What about if you could tick all three boxes? Yeah, excuse me. All three boxes that could make sure that you're ticking those things so they're getting clear communication based on their modalities that they have strongest. Number 12, timing. Sometimes the success of persuasion depends on timing. Well, it's like this, isn't it? I always think back to, I was a part of an MLM company, network marketing. Fantastic learning, by the way. Yeah, 90% of the people in it are a little bit too rah-rah for me, I must be honest. The bullshitometer just goes through the fucking roof. But there's plenty of learning from the great people in those businesses that are doing it right. And the thing is that I've heard about network marketing for a long time, and it was never really right for me because I didn't really need it. What for? Yeah, I didn't need the products and I didn't need the income, so what was the point, right? And then there came a part of my life where that, I was just getting really busy all the time, and my diet was starting to slip, and the outcome was that I started to feel a bit shit about myself. So I looked in the mirror one day, and it wasn't actually. I was on the beach in Australia, and I saw a photo of myself where I thought I'd be looking super ripped. Sadly, this was real talk, yeah. I thought I'd be looking pretty good, and when I actually saw the photo of myself, I thought, oh man, what have I done? What have I done? And I always think cause and effect. That's the way my mind works, is cause and effect. What sort of thing am I doing to give this effect? And it was my diet was getting slipped because I was so caught up in the busy days and wanting to go and do lots more stuff with businesses. So the cause is that I was having to get fast food all the time. So I changed it to something that was, guess what, a lot more convenient, and I could just go to and pick up and use, and that would give me a better outcome. So then I gave the network marketing product a go, and I lost 2 stone. Yeah, there you go. Always thought it didn't work. It did bloody work. So what happened then is that the timing wasn't right for when people had approached me previously, but the emotional stuff of me feeling bad about myself and like, well, okay, I need to sort my diet out. What can I do? What sort of offers? It just so happened that a good friend of mine, and I met at the time with a lot of know, like, and trust in the things that we spoke about before, it came into my life, and it was the right timing. Yeah. So presenting your message to your audience when it's the right time. So how do we know it's the right time? Well, we're not mind readers, are we? So consistency, keep going, keep resilient, keep sharing, keep being there for people, and be clear that people understand your message. Yeah, people really need to understand it when the time is right for them. Number 13, non-verbal communication. So we spoke about communication, the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic stuff, yeah? So the non-verbal stuff is more the visual side. So if you're starting to see people, you just know straight away that something might be a little bit right with them or a little bit off with them, okay? What sort of communication is there? Body language, tone of voice, yeah? Facial expressions, conveying loads of information too fast, the way that there's, the pace that they're speaking. So just pay attention to those non-verbal cues as well, yeah? Making sure that, because even though you may think that, oh, yeah, well, that wasn't really something that played a big part in that communication, your subconscious mind is always picking up on small parts of non-verbal communication as well. And that can be not just what you're doing and the way you're behaving, but the way you behave when people aren't looking as well, yeah? So what people may say about you, the word of mouth around stuff, what you do and portray yourself on social media or platforms or websites, or just keep it in mind that the direct communication isn't the only communication as well. So, number 14, the ability to handle objections also plays a big part in your influence and persuasion. So there will always be objections, right? And a lot of people get put back by objections, but when you do get an objection, it means that person is actually thinking about it, okay? So the key here is not just to go and hammer down with, hey, look, I've got all these 100 ways to answer objections. It's not about that. It's finding out what it is around the objection that really matters to them and being able to move forward. And if you're a serious A player when it comes to this, then you'd be aware of how to handle objections before they actually rise up. We're talking about expert sales here, which is going to be a part of the future 100K clubs, because ultimately we need to work on all these skills for you to get to 100K. 100K isn't an easy thing. Okay, it depends where you are in the country, yeah, in the world. You could be in a country where 100K isn't that much, but you get what I mean, yeah? 100K in America, 100K in the UK, 100K in Australia. It's a fair income, yeah? It's a good income to be at, and it's just that next level. Is it the sort of thing that we speak about, and you see on influencers about making millions and things? Perhaps not. But that's too far away. We're talking about A to M, yeah? A to L, out to N, anywhere around that mark. We just want to get to A to B first, okay? But handling objections like a pro, yeah, is going to be an episode that we need to talk about, and probably do some stuff in the members clubs as well about how to take that to the next level. So finally, number 15, it's the bullshitometer, yeah, the bullshitometer. Spoke about it throughout all this stuff. Number 15 is ethical considerations, yeah. It's essential to use influence and persuasion ethically. So what's the intent behind it? What's the intent behind you doing stuff? I outline at the 100K Club, every episode we mention the mission, okay? The mission here is to get you to create an environment where it's okay and fair for everybody, yeah? Why shouldn't everybody have the opportunity to step into wealth? Why not? Well, the reason is one, they haven't been given the right resources, and number two, the reason they don't move forward is they think they fucking know it all already. And number three is because they think it's not possible. It's that simple. So for me, I guess it's a hard job that I have to try and convince people that it is possible. And unless they're listening to the 100K Club, then they won't think it is possible. So that's my job to think about. But for people that are listening to the 100K Club, it makes it easy then, because I just give them the resources. They've tried and tested stuff. And look, if you take one or two things from every episode and go and apply it, even if you don't get to 100K, do you think that may just be a little bit more of an advancement that you can move forward? What about if we did that over 10 episodes, 20, 30, 40, 50? What about if we get so many episodes that we can start to go, hey, look, here's the specific thing that someone needs to listen to handle their next job interview, to handle how they ask for a rise, to handle how they start up a little company, to handle how they start up a side company, to handle how they go and speak to financial advisors about their wealth and their future, yeah? How to talk about what they do with their inheritance and their tax and their legacy. All this stuff can start to apply and compound, right? Again, this is about number 15, ethical consideration. Always avoid any manipulation, deceit, any tactics, yeah? All this stuff is just, it's not right. You know it's not right. And if it ever feels not right, get out of there. It's that simple, right? So just be clear. And I always think having a good vision and a mission is always key. I went into the Tesla garage the other day, and straight away the Elon Musk Tesla vision is up there about advancing the human race towards not using pollutions that are bad for the earth. I can't remember what the exact thing was. It was quite good. I should remember it really. But it's a great vision, isn't it? And now I actually own a Tesla. It talks here about every time I go onto the app or do anything, it's like, well done, you've just done something to be a part of the vision around removing pollutions from the world, yeah? So, well, it depends how far you want to go with that. Some people might be listening to this and arguing, well, it causes more product. Yeah, okay. Look, the point here is that it's part of a vision. It's what people in his companies are moving towards, so we can all get on board with it, right? So what sort of things do you need to get on board with? What is your mission? How are you able to turn around and go yes to something or no to something? Or do you just stick around in a fucking circle all the time and going and questioning everything? Well, having a good ethical mission is something that allows you to move forward a lot faster and know that the values are right. Okay, so there's 15 things then on influence and persuasion. A bit of a download episode, quite a long episode as well, but I think this episode is one of those that we can always refer back to about the 15 points around ethics and around influence and persuasion. So the next is that I'll open up the 100K Club membership. If you want to be a part of that, it's the same price as Netflix, as I always mention, and you can jump in there, just subscribe through Spotify, and you can be one of the members in there to learn more around influence and persuasion and how you move towards getting 100K. And look, how are you going to get to 100K if you don't know this stuff, right? So hopefully this episode today has given you the content just at the surface level so you can go and start to learn it yourself, or if you wish to, you can dive in and into the members club and also learn some stuff there. Hope this has been useful. Give me your comments, give me your feedback, drop me a message on LinkedIn. Do what you must. Please interact, because this is about community as well. Yeah, the more community we have around us, the more circle that we can start to create and have an open conversation, open talking around the things that really matter of how you move forward. So I'm Coach Lewis Hayden. Be great and go and step up that ladder towards creating more wealth for you and your family. Have a good one.